Hello everybody, Zeidoktor here, and this episode of the Typical Manga Review is going to be dedicated to One Piece, Chapter 850, Ray of Light. And for what it's worth, I'm probably going to have a bit more to go on this one than I did in My Hero Academia. We open our chapter here with a cover with Smoker and a snake, and some other guy it looks like, being forced to smoke outside on a snowy day. It's designated the smoking area. Meanwhile, Chopper and Carrot are going all over the Sweet City's mirrors trying to find where to go. The problem is there are so many mirrors they don't know where to go. Brûlée is unconscious, so they can't make her tell them. Most they can do is keep her close so they can use her power to navigate. And Diesel, the train man introduced last chapter, is basically just being the horse to pull their carriage. Sanji, meanwhile, has caught himself getting into the cooking groove and made himself a Straw Hat level lunchbox, which is far more than Pudding could eat. But he's like, that's fine, I can eat the leftovers. While Pudding is like, he imagines Pudding like feeding him the extra foods, like which puts him in a very good mood as he goes off to bask with his only ray of light remaining. In the prison library, Luffy is freaking the F out. He's tangled himself up in his arm so bad, like stretching him as far as he can, to the point that he's like threatening to rip his arms off at the wrist, trying to break off the nail or tack or whatever that's got him pinned to the wall. When Nami points out, Luffy expresses that that's pretty much the point. And he's thinking that he'd rather lose his arms than be dead. Because while they sit there wondering who's going to save them, they're losing everything. And then Big Mom kills them in the end. Well, I'll be damned if I die in such a pointless way. He then orders Nami to rip her arms off too. Like, no way, are you crazy? Fine then, I'm going to solve this problem, so stop yelling in my ear. I don't want to watch you rip your arms off. Stop complaining. I am not going to die in a place like this. And he's just still trying to literally rip his arms off, pull a little gardener, while Nami's just like screaming in horror at the sight. In the third floor courtyard of Whole Cake Chateau, we've got former captain of the Nox Pirates, Pedro, bounty 382 million berries, versus Baron Tamago, knight of the Big Mom Pirates, 429 million berries. The fight is actually going pretty well. It's like as they fight, Pedro's remembering his last time on Whole Cake Island, where he and his partner Zeppo, a bear mink, confront Pekon for joining Big Mom. Both Pedro and Tamago declare that they're going to lose more than the eye this time. Meanwhile, as the fight goes on, we also go into flashback, where we see the dartboard that Jinbei had to use. It's like, now you've done it now, thieves. Your partner spun the here. We see Zeppo on the floor, like your Big Mom is gloating. Your partner here spun the roulette wheel. The punishment, 100 years life. Well, he only had 30 left to go. That means you owe me 70 years. As in the present, the fight's continuing. Tamago is bragging over his superiority reach. Again, I'm going to mangle the French, so I'm sorry for that. But he's also wearing clothes that block electro powers, for the mink electro powers. In the flashback, Pekon pleads for Pedro's life. Big Mom relents, like, fine, I'll knock 10 years off. But the price for taking Tamago's eye is heavy. 60, no less. At which point, Pedro rips out his own eye and offers it to Big Mom. How many years will this knock off? The day of the dawn of the world is nigh. I must return home. Big Mom's like, I like you. 50 it is. Enjoy your life. And then Tamago using an attack called Legs Benedict. Pedro's like just knocked down, and Tamago demands to know why Pedro came back here. Why return to the Isle of Nightmares where your partner was murdered and you lost 50 years of life? Pedro declares that the Straw Hat crew saved his homeland and he owes them his life. I am certain that they will one day guide the world to a new dawn. They shall surpass you all and change the world. There's no better way to use the last remnants of my life than in their service. But don't get me wrong, I'm not dying here. They haven't fulfilled their reason for being here yet, so I'm not dying yet. It was when he cuts Baron Tamago in half, and apparently when he does, yolk spills out. Don't ask me how that works, but we're probably going to see like an egg devil fruit coming here soon. In front of Pudding's room, Pudding's door, literally the door itself, is telling Sanji he cannot come in, that Pudding is currently indisposed. So the Sanji decides to kind of sneak around and get through the window. It's like, maybe I shouldn't. It's kind of like peeping. Yeah, what am I talking about? We'll be husband and wife tomorrow. Not going to be a chroma if she's changing or naked. It's fine. So he's making a trip. He finds the right window. He sees her laughing. Oh, there's my sweet pudding. Is she talking with someone? He looks inside and sees Reiju with a shocked expression on her face. And it turns out the reason that Pudding is laughing is, that's so funny. You've got to be dreaming. May marry that stupid thug? Of course I'm not. Which leaves Sanji just like, what? We see, and we actually see final confirmation once and for all that, yes, Pudding is the three-eyed girl. We see the third eye right here. And as she glows to rage, I'm Mama's favorite, especially when it comes to my acting. Doing all those favors and bowing and scraping got so annoying. Still, it's easy to fool men when Mama asked me to. Those Straw Hats never stood a chance. Only my family knows what I'm really like. We go back to the prison library where Luffy's still screaming to get out of there and, so that damn Pudding, she'll never get away with this. And then we flash back to the chapter where she said goodbye to them. So don't worry, I'm not going to marry him. Listen close. If you want to know why we're not getting married, it's because that love-struck idiot will get riddled with bullets during the ceremony, courtesy of me. And you're not getting out of here alive either. Wait, Pudding, what did you say? And then she looks back at them crying and saying goodbye. My helpless little rats. At which point Luffy's like, she was planning to ruin us from the beginning. What does she have against Sanji anyway? This is messed up. Back in Pudding's own room, she's talking to Reiju still. You're so naive. What do you call yourselves? An army of evil? Stick to the world of imagination, you inept clowns. The only thing Mama wants are your army of clone soldiers and your scientific power. What a sweet... And we see Reiju 1. And this took me a while to spot. I legitimately did not see it right away. Like, what is... her legs are still bleeding from whatever was attacking her last chapter. See? And Pudding is like, see, is that and she just quips like, what a sweetheart you turned out to be. You see, it's that sarcastic, uncooperative side of you that we don't need. The entirety of the German kingdom is currently moored within our borders. We wafted the sweet scent of a political marriage with Sanji, and you roaming flies took the bait just as Mama planned. At tomorrow's wedding, the entire Vinsmoke family will be put to death. And with that, and a dramatic thunderclap, the chapter ends. And I have to admit, I'm of two minds of Pudding here, and her revelation. At first, my initial thought was that this is some kind of double bluff, that she's trying to screw over Big Mom in some way to get out of the marriage, and in such a way that puts all the blame on her, whether it's out of misguided belief that Big Mom won't harm her, or just not caring at this point. Either way works. Once again, we have the nightmare face as soon as the character exposes himself as evil, as like a whole big trope unto itself. But anyway, like I said, I was originally thinking this was some kind of double bluff, because as I've been saying for a while now, Pudding has the potential to be the big spanner in the works of this whole operation. What might be changing my mind about this is the fact that until just earlier today, in fact, I did not realize that Reiju was still bleeding. I thought this was maybe like some kind of weird little flashback to right before Reiju was injured, and maybe like she got exposed, Reiju tried to get away, and Pudding attacked her, something like that. But seeing here that she's still injured, that means that whatever happened last chapter, whatever actually attacked her, we still don't know what it is yet. And Pudding is just mocking her for apparently finding something there. Because the one thing that kind of threw me off and made me think this was a double bluff was, why tell Reiju? Why tell her when this exact scene could be played out just as easily with any member of her family to cement her being evil? But then, now that we see that she's still injured, which means Pudding brought her from wherever she was last, that, I'm trying to think how to say this here. It's like, basically means that it suggests that maybe Reiju found something that would have exposed him anyway, so Pudding's like, you know what, I'm just gonna go all ham. Poor Sanji. Like I said, he, like I said, I said before, she's going to be the spanner in the works here. And whether her evilness now is genuine or fake, she is fulfilling that role. If it's genuine, then making the Windsmoke think they're all going to be killed, or even acting on that during the wedding, could pretty much destroy Big Mom's reputation for her political marriages. If she's genuine, then it could well mean that because she did this without knowing Sanji was there, presumably, he's now in a position to act with one restraint less. Like, he's just been pushed into the brink of despair now. He's got nothing, not even his last ray of light pudding. So the question now becomes, what happens next? Also, going over the chapter during the review, I think I randomly realized something. Earlier, we know that Jinbei tried to leave the crew, and that Big Mom demanded a cost with that same dartboard we saw here with Pedro and Zeppo. What do you want to bet that Jinbei landed on a number so high it would kill his entire crew too, and then some in order to fulfill it? Like he hit 1,000 on that wheel or something. Yeah, that's definitely where I'm going with that one on there, because that would explain why he balked at it at the last second, because anything else I can't really see him like just stopping for. His fellow crew fistmen, on the other hand, that would do it in a heartbeat. He would, that would, the one thing that would, because the one thing he did not want to do is put them out because of his actions. Just trying to think what else is worth noting here. See here. Yeah, he said, I don't know what Luffy's gonna do here. I had the feeling that this might be where, or maybe this might be where Chopper ends up coming out from, like in time to save Luffy. Or I think what comes next is going to depend a lot on where Chopper winds up. Will he get Caesar? As was kind of like my suspicion. Will he get Sanji, and maybe even be able to do something about those necklaces? Maybe Kara can sort them out or something, or bracelets. I'm sorry. Will he get the Luffy in them and maybe stop Opera? Maybe freedom from the book and Opera. And what is the deal with Pudding? Is she serious or is she bluffing? There's enough questions here, I think, at this point to kind of go in the next few chapters with a nice little bit of eagerness here. I do want to see just where we go next from this. I don't know if we're going to be seeing it this week or next week, though. That's going to be the tricky thing. Till then, it's just whether it's 1 week or 2, we'll still see what happens with this next week. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and call the review here. That has been One Piece chapter 850, Ray of Light. Actually, no, wait. This does remind me of one thing I did want to bring up earlier. A trend I noticed way back in Enies Lobby. I don't know if it really still holds true now, but it does seem to at times. It always seems like every 10th chapter brings out some big event, some big reveal that changes the things around. I have to go back over these chapters now to see if that happened with this arc, but 850, Pudding is evil and gonna kill the Windsmokes. I'd say that's a good one. Anywho, once again, that's One Piece, chapter 850, Ray of Light. Until next chapter, have a Merry Christmas, have a Happy New Year, and bye-bye.